Have you ever wondered how big hotels and five-star restaurants boil their eggs to make them so perfectly soft, flavorful, and easy to peel every single time? Here's the twist. They don't boil eggs the way you do at home. That's right, they never toss eggs straight into a pot of bubbling water like most of us do. In fact, if you're still boiling your eggs directly in water, you might be ruining not just the taste, but also risking your health. Sounds surprising? It's true. Many people think boiling eggs is the simplest cooking task on earth. Just water, heat, and a few eggs, right? Wrong. The truth is, boiling eggs the wrong way can leave you with rubbery whites, dry yolks, cracked shells, and even bacteria on your breakfast plate. And yet, most people have been making this same mistake for years without knowing it. But that ends today. In this video, I'm going to show you the exact egg boiling technique used by world-class hotel chefs, a method that's not only safer and cleaner, but also results in eggs that peel like magic, taste like heaven, and look like they belong in a gourmet breakfast spread. First, let's address the hidden danger dirty eggshells. Eggs don't come out of the hen sparkling clean. They're often covered with invisible bacteria like E. coli and salmonella. These microbes live on the surface of the shell, and if you toss an unwashed egg into hot water, that shell can crack and allow the bacteria to slip right into the egg. And no, cooking heat doesn't always kill it all. That's how many cases of food poisoning start, with people eating clean-looking eggs that were actually contaminated. The worst part? Most of this can be avoided by one simple step, cleaning the eggs the right way before you cook them. So here's how the pros do it. Grab a clean bowl and fill it with lukewarm water. Add a pinch of baking soda and a teaspoon of salt. Then gently place your raw eggs into the mixture. With your hands, softly scrub the surface of each egg. This removes any hidden dirt, feathers, and bacteria from the shell without damaging it. The baking soda breaks down grime and helps clean the shell, while salt acts as a natural disinfectant. This small step may seem unimportant, but it's the foundation of safe egg preparation. You'll also notice that your pot stays cleaner and your eggs smell fresher when you do this. Once your eggs are clean, don't jump straight into cooking, instead soak them. This next step is the first twist that makes all the difference. Take another bowl of warm water, not hot, just comfortably warm, and add 1 tablespoon of vinegar and a small pinch of salt. Gently place your eggs in this solution and let them soak for about 10 minutes. Why? Because vinegar softens the outer shell just slightly, which helps it separate from the white after cooking. And salt helps maintain the inner structure of the egg while raising the boiling point slightly. Together, they prevent your eggs from cracking later when exposed to steam. Also, soaking the eggs allows them to adjust slowly to room temperature, reducing the risk of shell shock when heated. This reduces cracking dramatically. No more mess in the pot. Okay, now here's where things really take a professional turn. Big hotels don't boil their eggs in water, they steam them. Yes, steam, not boil, is the 5-star way. And here's why it works so well. When you boil eggs directly in water, they bounce around, knock into each other, and sometimes crack. The whites become rubbery. The yolks turn dry. But when you steam eggs, the heat surrounds them gently and evenly. There's no water contact, no bouncing, no cracking, just perfect even cooking. To do this at home, all you need is a pot with a lid and a steaming rack. Fill the pot with about an inch of water, just enough so that it doesn't touch the bottom of the rack. Once the water starts to boil, carefully place the eggs on the rack. Alright, so go ahead and cover the pot with a tight lid and let them steam for about 12 to 14 minutes, depending on how soft or firm you want the yolks. You know, steaming also really helps preserve the natural taste and texture of the eggs. The whites stay tender, the yolks stay moist, and there's no risk of overcooking. Plus, since the eggs aren't floating around in water, they're way less likely to end up with those unappetizing greenish rings around the yolk, which, by the way, is a sign of sulfur overexposure from direct boiling. But hey, we're not done yet. Once your eggs have finished steaming, don't just leave them sitting in the hot pot. That's actually a pretty common mistake. Instead, you'll want to immediately transfer them into a large bowl of ice-cold water. This step is critical, and honestly, most home cooks just skip it. But chefs never do. Why is that? Well, cooling the eggs fast actually causes the inner white to pull slightly away from the shell. This creates a small gap, which makes peeling the shell super easy. Plus, it stops the cooking process right away, preventing the yolks from turning chalky. Leave the eggs in cold water for at least 5 to 10 minutes. You can even gently crack the shell while it's underwater, which lets cold water slip inside and separate the membrane from the white, making peeling even smoother. The result? Well, you get a clean, beautiful egg that's soft, rich, and flavorful, with no jagged shell bits and honestly no waste at all. And here's a bonus tip. Just roll the egg gently on the counter to crack it evenly before peeling. You'll be amazed how easily the shell slips off. Now let's quickly compare. With the traditional method, you throw unwashed eggs into boiling water, risk bacterial contamination, cracked shells, hard whites, green rings, and eggs that take forever to peel. With the 5-star method, you clean your eggs, soak them in vinegar and salt, steam them gently and cool them instantly. The difference is night and day. This isn't just about taste, it's about safety, simplicity, and consistency. Every time you use this method, your eggs will come out perfectly cooked, easier to digest, and safer to eat. That's why big hotels follow it. It's not fancy, it's just smart. Now, we'll talk about one more shocking mistake most people make after boiling their eggs. What they eat with them. Yes, the wrong food combinations with eggs can really mess up your digestion, block nutrient absorption, and honestly, make you feel bloated or tired after eating. Plus, I'll show you how to store your boiled eggs properly so they stay fresh and safe to eat for days. Now that you've learned how 5-star chefs boil their eggs using a safer, smarter, and tastier method, let's talk about what most people do wrong after the eggs are cooked. The food combinations. Yes, even if you steam your eggs perfectly, pairing them with the wrong foods can completely ruin their health benefits. One of the biggest mistakes people make is eating eggs with tea. Sounds harmless, right? But here's the truth. Tea contains something called tannic acid, which binds with the protein in eggs, and forms a substance that can be very difficult to digest. This can lead to bloating, gas, constipation, or even protein loss in your diet. If you've ever had eggs and tea together and felt heavy or uncomfortable afterward, now you know why. Another food to avoid pairing with eggs is soy milk or tofu. Both of these are high in plant protein, which sounds great in theory. But when eaten with animal protein like eggs, they can compete in your stomach for digestion. Your body struggles to break them down efficiently. This can cause indigestion, sluggishness, and poor nutrient absorption. So, what should you eat with your perfectly steamed eggs instead? Keep it simple and balanced. Pair them with whole grain toast, oats, avocados, or lightly steamed vegetables. These foods are gentle on the digestive system and actually help your body absorb the nutrients from eggs better. Eggs are rich in choline, lutein, and high-quality protein. You want your body to make the most of those. Another important thing to avoid is eating eggs with excessive sugar or sweet dishes. Some people eat eggs with jam or sugary bread, but sugar can spike your insulin and may cause you to crash later. Your best bet? Stick to low GI, fiber-rich foods that give steady energy. Now let's talk about storage. So, what happens after the eggs are cooked and cooled? A lot of people just leave them out on the kitchen counter for hours. But honestly, this is a dangerous habit. Boiled eggs, whether peeled or not, should be refrigerated within 2 hours of cooking. If they're unpeeled, they'll last up to 7 days in the fridge. But if you've peeled them already, you should eat them within 2 to 3 days for the best taste and safety. Store them in an airtight container, and to keep them moist, you can place a damp paper towel inside. This helps prevent the whites from turning rubbery or drying out. Also, avoid putting them near foods with strong odors like onions or garlic, as eggs can easily absorb smells. One more critical point. Never reheat boiled eggs in the microwave. This might sound strange, but eggs that have already been cooked can explode when microwaved. The steam inside the yolk builds up pressure and can cause a sudden burst. This isn't just messy, it's dangerous. If you want your boiled eggs warm, the safe way is to place them in warm water for 1 to 2 minutes. Now let's touch on digestion again. Some people, complain of gassiness or bloating after eating eggs, even when they're cooked properly. This is usually due to either pairing them with the wrong foods, or simply eating them too fast. Chew slowly. Let your saliva mix with the egg. Digestion starts in the mouth, not the stomach. And listen to your body. If eggs cause discomfort, it could be a mild intolerance or sensitivity. Try eating just the white part or mixing them with easier-to-digest foods like rice or banana. On the other hand, if you digest eggs well, they can be like a superfood for muscle, brain, eyes, and skin, but only if they're prepared and consumed correctly. Here's one more twist that honestly, few people know. Boiled eggs actually absorb flavors from their surroundings. That means if your fridge smells bad, your eggs might, taste odd, so always keep them sealed. Also, if you're planning to eat them later, label the date you cooked them. This small habit really avoids confusion and helps prevent eating spoiled food by accident. Speaking of spoiled eggs, here's a tip. If a boiled egg smells sulfuric or, just off, go ahead and toss it. Even if it looks okay, your nose is honestly the best judge. A fresh egg will have a mild, neutral scent, but a bad one, well, it'll smell rotten or even metallic. Don't take chances. Now just a quick tip on presentation. If you want to serve eggs that look like they came straight from a hotel kitchen, slice them cleanly using a thread or a wet knife. You'll get perfect halves with no jagged edges. You can also sprinkle a little sea salt, black pepper, or paprika for that gourmet look. Some even brush the eggs with olive oil for a glossy finish. Simple, but elegant. Let's rewind for a moment. We've now gone through the 5-star hotel method from start to finish. First, you clean the eggs with baking soda and salt. Then you soak them in vinegar and salt water to soften the shell and reduce cracking. Next you steam, not boil, the eggs for precise cooking. Then cool them in ice water to stop overcooking and ensure easy peeling. Finally, you store them right and eat them with foods that aid digestion. It's not just about eggs, it's about doing things the right way. Most people don't realize how small mistakes in the kitchen can lead to big problems in digestion, taste, and even health. But now, you do. And now that you know better, your eggs won't just be eggs anymore, they'll be perfect, just like in a 5-star hotel. So the next time you boil eggs, remember, don't just throw them in water and hope for the best. Respect the egg. It's one of nature's most complete foods. And when treated right, it rewards you with amazing flavor, texture, and nutrition. Share this video with someone who still boils eggs the old way. They need to know this. And if you found this helpful, don't forget to hit like, subscribe to our channel, and turn on the bell icon. We share kitchen secrets, food safety tips, and wellness wisdom every week, just like this. Until next time, steam smart, eat clean, and start your mornings the 5